It's the big one. It's Championship. It's biggest, best, most entertaining league in the world, and we're doing it right now. The categories for this Hall of Fame video are League One, so the 3 teams are going to be going down. The fodder, your mid-tablers, you've got your players that are just your players. Your teams that are just outside playoffs that are just not good enough. Then you've got your players, and then you've got the fellows, the top 2. Going to the Premier League. I've done my League One and my Premier League already. I'll put links to them below so you can go and watch them after you've just consumed this awesome content. But let's just get straight in there where the teams that will be getting relegated to League One next year. Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle are probably going to come last, because it's Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. I actually don't think he's the worst manager ever. I feel like he got dealt some really tough hands at Derby previously. But at Birmingham, it were an absolute joke, and it were a large part of why they got relegated. And Plymouth struggled last year anyway. They might lose Whittaker, they might still lose Cooper, the keeper. The incomings are crap, to be honest. There's nothing really going on yet. And yeah, it's a strong league, especially at bottom. And Plymouth, as one of the smaller teams there, with one of the weaker squads there, with easily the worst manager, it's 24th. Even if you get to like Christmas and sack him, the damage might already be done. It might be too late by then. So that's that. Second bottom, and also going down, I have got Blackburn. They have signed no one. At the time of me recording this, they've signed nobody. They're probably going to lose Sammy Smodics, who is the sole reason that they stayed up last season anyway. If it weren't for him, I genuinely think if they'd have had Ronaldo or Messi last season instead of Sammy Smodics, they'd have still gone down. He saved them. It was such a one-man band. If it weren't for him, they'd have come last. Near mine gone down. And John Eustace, I think, is a decent gaffer. I really like him, Blackburn manager. But their incomings, they've done nothing. They've signed some bloke from Linfield, and that's it. They've done nothing else. The squad's crap. They had to sell Adam Wharton to keep lights on. They're going to lose Smodics. The squad's terrible. They're going down. And then third and final. Oh, this is not going to go down well. I think it'll be Derby. I do think it'll be Derby. Even though they came second and Oxford went to playoffs, Derby are in the weakest position out of the 3 that's come up. And once you take it out of context, like the Plymouth and Blackburn of last year, who were absolutely horrific and stayed up by the skin of their teeth, and so did a lot of teams. There were a lot of teams in that relegation battle, but others have strengthened where they aren't. Derby look crap. And they've got a specialist at getting relegated in Paul Warren. Every time he's been here with Rotherham, he's gone straight back down. He cannot adapt to this league. You've got a very aging squad. Apart from some of your star men like Mendes, Lancashire, them type of lads, the core of the squad is really old, and they've not got the legs to keep up with some young, energetic teams that are just going to run you ragged. And a large part of why they got promoted last year is the big stadium tax at home when you're playing like part-time plumbers every other week at like Cambridge and Cheltenham, teams like that. They're going to come to Pride Park and shit the jocks. But these teams play in stadiums like this every week. So the home factor's not going to be there. I feel like they're just not good enough. Generally, the squad is not good enough, and the gaffer definitely isn't. So I think Derby will go down. Now, into cannon fodder to start us off, I've got Portsmouth to just narrowly stay up, same as Oxford. I am going to put more in here, but I've also got Hull as the first 3 that I want to speak about. And I do think that this will be tight, you know. Last season, Birmingham went down on 50 points. They went down, right? Millwall in 13th, who won the last 5 games in a row, by the way, to get to this position, only had 9 points more than them. Swansea in 14th had 7 more points than Birmingham, who went down. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams within 7 points of each other, narrowly escaping drop. So I think it's going to be tight again. There is going to be a hell of a battle going on. And Portsmouth, I think, are going to be the one that's escaped by the skin of the teeth. They're not making many incomings, but they were never going to anyway, because they bought a lot in January. They strengthened a lot because they had loads and loads of injuries in the League One promotion season. So that wasn't a surprise that they're not going to spend loads and loads of money. And the squad's all right. Musinho's definitely a better manager than Paul Warren. And the squad's better than Derby's. So that's the logic that I'm going with. Whereas Oxford, they obviously went up through playoffs. So statistically, they've got the weakest squad. They've got the worst team out of the 3 that went up. Otherwise, they'd have got it up to, wouldn't they? But they've strengthened the best. They've made the best incomings out of them, Portsmouth and Derby, easily. They've made the best incomings out of anybody on this screen so far, by a mile. Peter Kioso, they bought him from Rotherham. He was on loan at Peterborough. Very good right back, I think he's meant. The midfield signings of Will Volks, Louis Sibley, and especially El Mazzuni are brilliant. Honestly, 3 very, very solid Championship midfielders, definitely of that standard, to add to Cameron Brannigan, who is a top-half Championship midfielder as well, who they've signed on a new contract. The middle part for them is going to be serious. Especially that El Mazzuni, I'm gutted he went there. If we'd have gone up, I'd have loved if we'd have got him. I think he's been at Leyton Orient on loan for the past 2 years in League 2 and League 1. He's definitely ready for this step up. He is a serious midfielder, I think he's meant. But yeah, I think Oxford and Portsmouth will narrowly escape. So will Hull, which is mental because last season, not getting playoffs were a complete joke. The amount of money that they spent on loans, there's an obvious value there in the whole squad that's valued at Premier League level in Jacob Greaves and Jayden Philogene, who've gone for a combined 37 million quid back to Villa with Philogene and to Ipswich Jacob Greaves. So they had them two, they had Fabio Carvalho, they had loads of loans, and they didn't get top six. I feel like the to load of money trying to get into the playoffs last season, and it failed. And that's why they sacked the gaffer. But it's going to be a big drop off. Obviously, they've not made their incomings yet to replace like Jacob Greaves and Philogene. If they go for Hughes from Wigan, that'd be a good signing. But their 11 is going to be a lot worse. Regardless of loans that they gain as well. They're not going to have that same pull again if Premier League teams are seeing that this gaffer and this club can't even get my players into top 6 in Championship. So why should I send them there over someone like Middlesbrough or Sunderland, who's going to be a lot further up? Again, see what they do with their incomings, but it's going to be a massive drop from just not being good enough at playoffs, just missing out, to being in a definite fodder battle. Now then, another team I've got in here is Sheffield United. I have got Sheffield United finishing 18th, which might seem crazy. And I will not have my mind poisoned by my girlfriend's mum and dad who are Sheffield United fans. I just want to put that one in there. They're shit. And I will not have my mind changed. They are shit. I'm not bothered about the signings at the minute. Kiefer Moore's a decent signing. Callum O'Hare's a good signing. I'll give him that one. And Harrison Burrows, if they get him as well, at the time of recording, it's not done yet. If they get him as well, good signings. Great. So what's that? We still need another 15 just to have a squad that you can put out at weekend. They've got a honking manager in Chris Wilder. He is shit. His style of football expired 3 years ago. And when you're coming down after conceding 100 goals and you're going to still lose your best players in Hamer and Anel Dave, whatever his name is, that centre half, there's just no way. They're going to start so bad. They're starting on a minus. They're going to start horrifically. If they're out at bottom 3 by Christmas, I'll be impressed. Genuinely, I think they're going to start that badly and they're going to be playing catch-up all year. They'll definitely be worst team in Sheffield by an absolute... I mean, there's only one team in Sheffield anyway, isn't there? But they'll definitely be worst team identifying as Sheffield by a landslide. If they go and get another 10 signings, which they're genuinely... I'm not exaggerating with the number. They need 10 signings. If they go and get them all in and they're all of adequate top-half Championship quality, I will give them mid-table. But they're not getting top-half. I'd put this house, which isn't even mine, I would put it on. They will not get top half regardless. But to finish off the fodder, I've got Swansea and Watford. Two teams that just sort of exist in Championship, don't they now? Watford at the time flirted in Premier League for a bit. I think they finished 11th one year. They were a mid-table Premier League team for a bit. But once you get sucked out and then the money just keeps increasing, the gap's getting bigger between Premier League and Championship. They're just sort of around here. They've got no real standouts, I don't think, in the team anymore. Same with Swansea. They don't really do anything. They're just there. Into my mid-tablers, I have got Cardiff. Where are they? Preston, Bristol City, and QPR. I've got two others that I'm going to put in a sec, but they're the 4 that I've got at the minute. Cardiff are not shy with getting checkbook out either. They pay a fat wage, they do. They've managed to nab Chris Willock on a free from QPR, and they've got Callum Chambers in from Villa centre-half, ex-Arsenal as well. Good signings, but they're just very Cardiff, and they don't change the recruitment strategy, which has had them mid-table in Championship for ages. I can't remember the last time they had a proper serious playoff push, Cardiff. It must have been 4 or 5 years ago now that Cardiff even finished like top 9. I genuinely can't remember it. Since they got relegated from Prem, I think they did finish playoff season after, but then after that, I literally can't remember them doing anything. And they just keep making the same sort of signings, same sort of manager appointments, and doing nothing. And I don't think that'll change. Preston, on the other hand, have been, sat around 9th and 12th for the past like 5-6 years. Very consistent top half Championship team, and I have got them having a bit of a drop. But that's just because they've lost the best player in Alan Brown. I don't know about their incomings. They've got some bloke from Iceland. But losing Alan Brown is crazy. And they offered him a record, I think it was Preston's record wage offered, something like that. But obviously he's not taking it. He's gone to Sunderland instead for probably double what Preston can offer as their record. And it's probably just second fiddle to Sunderland, isn't it? But you just can't compete with some of these teams that's round here. But it's still a good season. They know that they're not going to mount a playoff push, surely. No Preston fan can surely think we're a weaker squad than last year, losing the best player, that they can amount to something that they've not been able to do with stronger squads in past. There's just no way. They'll be mid-table and, yeah, just sat there. Same as the absolute kings at doing that. There is nobody better at just being irrelevant and not existing than Bristol City. Honest to God, I feel like I've not even watched him play in about 6 years. Start at season, end at season, they're just smack in middle, doing non-stop. And I'd never change anything about him. They brought Sinclair Armstrong in from QPR, which is a decent signing. He's only 21, and then some guy from Rapid Vienna for £3.5 million. They spent £6 million on two lads who must be half decent, but again, I don't think they'll break top half because they just never do anything. Whereas one of my other mid-tablers in QPR, they finished 6 points above relegation. They won the last 3 in a row, so they're definitely much better than what the league position gives off from last year, which is down to Cifuentes, who's a fantastic manager. But I do think he's being let down with his incomings. If he were given a proper serious squad, I would have him, honestly, as a challenger for playoffs. But with the signings that they've made, some bloke I've never heard of, so I can't even say anything. But they've lost Chris Willock. They've lost Sinclair Armstrong. They've let Dizelle go on a free. They're not really doing anything. You know what I mean? They're just sort of there. But Cifuentes managed to get him out of that shithole that Ainsworth left him in, with a squad that's really just not all that. And they've lost some of the better players. But he'd still had them finishing 7th or something since he come in. So they'll definitely be mid-table. I don't think they'll be in any sort of relegation battle like last year. And to be honest, I think QPR would take that. I've got 2 more to go in here, though. And it is Stoke and Sunderland that will be finishing 10th and 11th, respectively. Stoke, I don't think have finished anywhere other than 16th for the past 6 years. But they've got a very, very good keeper in that Johansson from Rotherham. Even though he conceded 400 goals, if it weren't for him, it'd have been double that. It was genuinely the best player every single week. Every week that I watched him, and even ones I didn't watch, and you go on like Twitter and see what Rotherham fans are saying, or see what any fans in general are saying about the club, he's the best player by a mile in a team that conceded that many. Imagine if you put him behind an half-decent defence that Stoke have got, he's going to concede less than half that many. Like Stoke conceded 60 goals last year, but bringing in Johansson, I didn't even mind the last keeper, but bringing in Johansson, I think you're taking 10 off that easy, off the total. And if you're conceding 50 odd goals, something like that, that is top half category. But I do worry about where they're going to get the goals from. They only scored 49. That's one more than Huddersfield, who went down. That's one less than Birmingham, who went down. Plymouth hit 59. You know what I mean? Teams a lot worse than them are scoring a lot more goals, which is partly down to football that they play, because Steven Schumacher, to be fair, at Plymouth, they weren't playing nicest stuff even when they won league and got promoted. They were just finding way at winning games. He's not really done that with Stoke yet, but they finished season really, really well. It's really good form taking into new season. The momentum's a big thing. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head what the pre-season results are so far, but I think they might start quite well and then fizzle out. That's what I could see happening with Stoke. Whereas Sunderland, I like Sunderland's signings. I genuinely really do. Alan Brown from Preston. Again, it's Preston's best player by a mile. They've just chucked a little bit more money at him, which means nothing, and then they've just got him for now. Ian Pervader as well from Leeds. He were on loan at Sheffield Wednesday last season. Probably the best player. And they've taken him. Good signings to add to what is a young squad, though. There's not a lot of experience there yet. There's very little even big leaders that can really carry him through. They've only just got this new manager in who I've never heard of in my life. And like I've said before, I think Sunderland are eventually building a squad that is going to smash Championship to bits. Not going to be this time. Maybe next, maybe one after. But eventually, the way that Sunderland will go up, it'll be by winning league. They're not going to go up through playoffs or top or second. They will win league and they'll get about 95 points eventually. But it will not be this time. Right, we've got 9 left and one of them Sheffield Wednesday. We've got 8 left and one of them Sheffield Wednesday because Millwall are going there. They've signed Tanganga on a free, who were on loan there last season. Solid centre half. They've got Macaulay Langstaff from Notts County. This isn't even an exaggeration. I think he's got like 80 goals in his last 3 years. He has scored so many. He hit 40 in National League. And I think he was top scorer in League 2 for a team that finished mid-table. So he definitely knows where net is. He's approaching his prime. He's 27 now. But you know what they needed, Millwall? They needed someone like Kiefer Moore, who's gone to Sheffield United. Obviously, they can't afford him because Sheffield United have chucked loads of money at him. They needed someone who could just fit the bill. They need the best players to be able to play lumpy, who-fit football. I'm hoping they're going to play Mako and Esse a bit more this season. But if you're going to play lumpy football like Neil Harris does, that's the best football that Millwall play. That's what Millwall are. They've got to play that type of stuff. They've won the last 5 going into this. They tried going down a completely different route to what Millwall are with Joe Edwards and playing it half and back and actually playing nice football. That just, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Do you know what I mean? Millwall have finished in like top half, I think, for the past few years, apart from this time, by playing disgusting prison football. keep doing it. But get players in, the best players that you can, suited to that type of football. Don't try and go a different way. I just can't see them making that gap. I do not know what it's going to take for Millwall to eventually just get in playoffs, because I'm dying to see them go up. I'd love it to see them in Premier League, but I just can't see it. Again, I just do not think they've got it in them yet. I also don't think Norwich have got them in them. I've got Norwich to finish 8th. Again, with their incomings and outgoings, I honestly haven't got a clue. Generally, I don't know, but they've lost Ben Gibson, the starting centre-half, to Stoke. They've lost that Sam McCallum to Sheffield United. They've brought in some guy from Bulgaria, I think. Is he a Panama international? Just looking at that flag. I don't know. I literally don't know. If they keep surrounding the better players, then they're still going to be in and around playoff push anyway. But I think there are better teams this season. And also, I don't think the standard of the top at Championship is that good this time. I feel like the overall level is catching up from bottom, because you look at some of the teams down here that are quite big and have got decent squads that are just marginally staying up. But the top, apart from maybe 3 teams that I've got in my mind, this is not a solid league this time. It's really not that good. But we've got 7 left and one of them can't get in. And that team is Wednesday. I'll be damned if I'm going to say anything positive about these ever. The only thing I've got to say is that the manager's definitely the biggest asset. And I remember I did the Wednesday video, didn't I, where I said that if he stays and if he gets backed, then I will have him to get in playoffs. However, that's true, okay? I do think they will be in the playoffs until a Premier League manager loses his job and he then jumps ship. So I've got you a little loophole there. I think he might get to like January, something like that, and Wednesday will be in and around playoffs, flirting with it a little bit. They'll be top half at least. And then Southampton are going to sack Russell Martin. So somebody like that, a bottom half straggler, or maybe a big German team are going to sack the manager and go, I want Danny Roll. And my owner is not a toolbox, so I will go. But to be fair, their incomings are quite good. I am a fan of some of these, especially that Jan Valery, the right back. James Beadle again, keeper, good signing. But one thing I do think they are lacking, the midfield depth is shocking. They've let Will Vaulks go to Oxford, another Championship team. They've let Byers go to Port Vale. That's a completely different thing. But how Port Vale have managed that coup, it's Darren Moore, in it, ex-Wednesday manager. But that's a great signing for League Two. They've let Bakinson go as well. That's 3 of the midfielders that have gone. Which, yeah, they're not starters. Yeah, they're not going to be your best players. But there's more players in a team than your 11, isn't there? You need a big squad. And you cannot have a little 40-year-old hobgoblin hobbling right pitch on his own with his breadstick legs. You just can't have that. So I think they might be in playoffs for the majority of the year. They might be in top 6 all the way. But I feel like they will fizzle out near end. And again, Danny Roll's going to jump ship. So that's my logic for him finishing 7th and not in top 6. And for teams that are getting in playoffs, I've got Burnley, Middlesbrough, and West Brom as 6th, 5th, and 4th. Burnley, if they'd have got an actual half-decent gaffer, if they'd have gone for someone like Danny Roll, if they'd have gone for Cifuentes at QPR, I'd have backed them to get top 2. Because the squad's definitely one of the 2 best squads in this league. But Scott Parker's shit, man. I do not rate him at all. But the squad, for how good it is, partnered with the league, I think, being quite weak near the top, I think they'll be in top 6 regardless. Middlesbrough, I really rate Michael Carrick. I'm glad that they're giving him time and they didn't get rid of him or something because they weren't performing as well last year as they did before. Eventually, Middlesbrough will get back up if they keep Carrick, and I quite like the squad and I quite like their incomings as well. West Brom could have the worst squad in the entire league, but they've got probably the best manager. Carlos is... Why he's still here, I don't know. I can't believe a Premier League team had taken a punt on him like a bottom half Premier League team, because his football is suited to it, to a team that could survive. They don't try and play the prettiest stuff ever. They play stuff that works. And Premier League teams, if West Brom go up eventually and keep him, they will stay up, I feel like, regardless of squad level. So while he's there, West Brom are going to be a dead cert for top 6, in my mind. But going into final playoff space, and whoever top 2 are going to be, I've got Coventry, Luton and Leeds, who I think are going to have the 3 best seasons. One of these has definitely got best squad. I don't know, actually. To be fair, the squads are all quite similar when I actually think about it properly in my head. Burnley have got the best one, I think, in league. But them 3 are all quite similar. I think Coventry will finish 3rd, Leeds 2nd, Luton to win league. I don't actually think that. I think it'll be like that. I think Leeds will win league. But I just can't get behind that. Do you know what I mean? So, for my own sanity, I'm going to put him 2nd. I don't care. My integrity's on the line. I don't care. I'm biased. Yeah. Obviously, I'm biased. Everybody's got a level of bias to him. But I'm not biased to the point where it's like, ridiculous. I'm still saying that Leeds will go up. I'm still saying that Wednesday will have a good season. I just can't get behind them doing certain things like Leeds winning league. I'm not taking promotion away from him because I think they're nailed on to go up. But I just cannot get behind them winning league, so I'll put him second. Coventry and Sunderland are like the two ways they're trying to get promoted from this league. Sunderland are going for heavy youth, waiting to build a squad eventually that can challenge to go straight up. Coventry want to get there a hell of a lot faster. They're bringing a lot of very good players in very fast, spending a lot of money. And this time, I do think Coventry will go. I think Coventry will go through playoffs. Leeds are currently 70 million quid in profit at the time of me saying this. They've sold, and realistically, out of the starters, they've only sold Glenn Kamara and Archie Gray. They've still got loads of cannon fodder that went out on loan because of whether making them signings in Premier League is an absolute dough ball anyway, to point where they've all got loan clauses if they get relegated. So Arthur Scud went out on loan and still finishing playoffs. The style of football that Fart plays is absolutely horrific. And if they lose Somerville, there is absolutely no way that they go up because they rely so much on individual quality. Leeds' style of football is just please God get ball to Somerville. Please get it to Reuter and just let them wing it, please. If they lose that type of quality, that same thing that Fart did at Norwich with Buendia, it would just everybody get ball to him, get ball to this star man and let him try and do something. It's like Chelsea's Hazard. That's literally what these teams are doing with Fark ball. I really hope that he plays first couple games. Leeds fans get quite excited and then he goes on last day transfer window to like West Ham. Oh God, I'd cry with joy. But that means that my league winners are Luton, even though I think it'll be the Leeds. No, I don't. I don't think it'll be the Leeds. Let me get that out of my mind. It's gone. Right, yeah, I think Luton will win league. I really like the manager, Edwards. I genuinely think he's quality. They're going to score a lot of goals as well. Adebayo and Morris up front after just hitting a fair whack of goals in Premier League, to be fair. When they're going up against weaker opposition now, a noticeable difference. They're going to hit loads and loads of goals. They're going to be really good at home. They definitely need some defenders in and probably a midfielder. Because defensively, they will concede a few based on at many what the squad is, because they've not really done anything incomings-wise. Baptiste is a really good signing in middle, and they bought Real Walters from Arsenal, 19-year-old right back. But they definitely need some defenders in. I'm just basing this on the fact that they should. They've got loads of parachute money. They've made 11 million quid just on sales this time. Spend some money, get some centre-halves in. Do you know what I mean? If they get them in, it's a nailed-on walk in park for promotion for Luton. But that's that. I've got Plymouth, Blackburn and Derby going down, and I've got Coventry up through playoffs and Leeds and Luton top two in whatever order you want to put them in. And that's that. Please let me know what you think, let me know what you disagree, and make sure you're subbed. Thank you all so much. This time next year, Barnsley will be on this screen. Yay! See you in a bit.